Okay, but really, who doesn't love a good life hack?
Yeah.
You know, those clever little shortcuts
Hmm.
that make your day just a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so satisfying. But, and this is the hard part, there are a million websites out there, all promising to like simplify our lives, declutter.
Right.
And it's like, where do you even start?
Exactly. Yeah.
So today we're doing a deep dive into her life hacks. This website, it really caught my eye. And you know why? Because they're targeting a very specific group, women at or near retirement.
Interesting.
And okay, they have a fresh perspective on this whole decluttering and organizing thing.
Okay.
Because it's not just about getting rid of everything. It's more about like creating a legacy
Right.
and simplifying your life in a way that, I don't know, it feels kind of like freeing almost.
Mhm.
And I have to say, the site itself, it feels very warm and inviting.
Yeah, it does.
And I love that they use the word HR throughout.
Yes.
It makes it very personal.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think, especially for this demographic, a lot of women in this age group, they've spent years, decades even,
Absolutely.
managing households, careers, families.
So much.
They're often just surrounded, by a lifetime of belongings.
It's true.
And so the thought of decluttering, it can feel really overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming.
It is. And so having a resource that is really tailored specifically to their needs, even just that language, that empathetic language, I think is really powerful.
Well, they keep mentioning this acronym. It's COP. What's your take on that?
I think it's clever.
Okay.
Because it's catchy, right? COP. And it stands for clear out, organize, and preserve.
Okay.
So it's kind of breaking down what could be this really daunting, overwhelming task into these 3 distinct steps.
Right.
And it reminds me, there are other productivity frameworks out there, like David Allen's Get Things Done method. Have you heard of that?
Oh, for sure.
It's very popular. And both of them, they emphasize like capturing everything first.
Okay.
So in this case, clearing out.
Right.
Before you can even begin to think about organizing and prioritizing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're understanding who this website is for, this audience, but let's like unpack what her life hacks is really all about, this COP method.
Okay.
And let's start with clear out, because it feels like there's more to it than just chucking stuff in a bin.
Right. And they actually took on this on the website, like the emotional weight that we attach, like all of us, to our possessions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
And for women who are in this transitional phase of life, maybe downsizing, maybe moving, like those emotional hurdles can feel even higher.
Right.
So I think like her life hacks recognizes that, and it encourages this mindful approach to letting go.
So it's not about like this big purge. It's more about being intentional.
Exactly.
Okay. Then there's organize.
Mm.
And I don't know, this one seemed less about like picture perfect pantries on Instagram.
Yes.
And more about making your life, I don't know, just easier.
Right. That's really what it should be about, right? And they even mention like saving time on cleaning, which...
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Right. Who doesn't want that?
Seriously.
Imagine like, knowing where everything is,
Yeah.
reducing those lost keys moments.
The worst.
Right. And just having this calmer, more functional space.
Yes.
It really is about like optimizing your environment to reduce stress and increase efficiency.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. And this is preserve. And this is what's so different, because it's not just about decluttering. It's about making conscious choices about what parts of your life, your story, you want to keep and share with others.
It's true.
What resonates with you about this?
Well, I think it's fascinating because it goes beyond, like you said, this very physical act of decluttering, and it really taps into something much deeper, and it's legacy.
Yeah.
Right? It's about identifying those items, those things that tell a story, that hold sentimental value, that connect us to our past.
Totally. And I was going to say, when we say preserving your heritage, it's not just about like those dusty old photo albums that we all have, right?
No, not at all.
Like, what else could this look like?
Well, think about like digitizing your grandmother's handwritten recipe book.
Ooh,
right? That's preserving heritage.
It really is.
Or like recording your parents telling stories about their childhood.
Oh, I love that.
Right. Or maybe it's like creating a video tour of your house and explaining the significance of certain objects.
That's so good.
It's really about capturing the essence of your experiences and passing them down.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, there was something that I kept seeing on the website, and I'm so curious about it.
Okay.
They keep mentioning something called the container concept,
Yes.
and they don't really explain it. It's almost like a little teaser.
Right. Like, what is that? it definitely piqued my curiosity too.
Okay, good. I'm not alone.
Because it's like, what is this? So it could be like actual physical containers, like using baskets, boxes, those drawer dividers to create order.
Right.
But it could also be like this more metaphorical concept. Like maybe they're talking about time blocking on your calendar, using that as a container for your schedule.
Interesting.
So it's clever, though, because it makes you want to find out more.
It makes you want to click.
Right, exactly. And that's the point, I think.
Yes. And speaking of finding out more, they have a free checklist that you can download, but you have to sign up for their email list.
Of course.
Smart. Right.
It's very smart.
Classic digital marketing, give something of value to build trust. And then,
And then you nurture that relationship over time.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah, for sure.
So for those of you listening, I want you to really think about this. What area of your life right now feels the most cluttered?
It's a good question.
And does this whole idea of heritage preservation, does that resonate with you? Just take a second to think about it. Okay, and here's a final thought before we wrap up.
Okay.
So we've been talking about her life hacks, and they're very focused on physical clutter.
Right.
But what about our digital lives?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because, let's be honest, our inboxes are overflowing. We've got files scattered across devices.
It's true.
It can feel just as overwhelming as a messy room.
Oh, absolutely.
So my question is, how can you apply these same COP principles to clear out, organize, preserve? How can you apply that to your digital world?
Right. Like, what would that look like?
Yes. Could deleting old emails be a form of clearing out? What about finally organizing all your computer files into folders? Is that organizing? And how can we preserve digital memories, photos, videos, but do it in a way that feels meaningful?
Right. It's a really good question.
Something to think about, right?
It is. It is.
Okay, lots to ponder. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Oh,